Now let us start the whole numbers chapter. So first, before going to learn whole numbers, let us recall our knowledge in the set of natural numbers. So then what are the natural numbers? The numbers which we use to count the things are called natural numbers. So these numbers are also called counting numbers or natural numbers. If you want to find the number of students in your class, so naturally we use from 1, 2, 3 up to and so on. So then these numbers are called natural numbers. The numbers which we use to count the things are called natural numbers. So the natural numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. So the smallest natural number is 1, but there is no the largest natural number. The smallest natural number is 1. There is no largest natural number. And the difference between any two consecutive natural numbers is 1. So the difference between any two natural numbers is 1. So the difference of 2 and 3 is 1. The difference of 3 and 4 is 1. So the difference of any two natural numbers, consecutive natural numbers, is always 1. Now let us take the next topic, the predecessor and the successor of a given natural number. So what is the predecessor and what is the successor of a given natural number? So the predecessor and the successor of a given natural number. So first, if you take the natural number 9, then if you add plus 1 to the given natural number 9, then we will get the sum 10. So then here 10 is called the successor of the given natural number 9. So then natural number plus 1 equals to, then we get successor. So then what is the successor of 99? So then to find the successor of 99, we add 1 to the given number 99, then we get the sum 100. So this 100 is called the successor of the given natural number 99. Then what is the predecessor? If you subtract 1 from the given natural number, then we get another natural number called predecessor of the given natural number. Means the number which lies just before the given natural number is called the predecessor, and the number which just lies after the given natural number is called its successor. Now the natural number minus 1 equals to predecessor. So the predecessor of 99 is 99 minus 1 equals to 98. So the predecessor of the given natural number 99 is 98. The predecessor of 1000, so that is obtained by subtracting 1 from the given number 1000, So this equals to 999. So this is the predecessor of the given natural number 1000. Then what is the successor of 1 in the natural numbers? In natural numbers, successor of 1 is 1 plus 1, that is 2. And then what is the predecessor of 1? So the predecessor of 1 is not defined. Because 1 minus 1 equals to 0. So but there is no 0 in the set of natural numbers. So the predecessor of 1 is not defined in the system of natural numbers. So there is no predecessor of 1 in the natural numbers. But the successor of 1 is 1 plus 1, that is 2. Now what is the number which has no predecessor in the system of natural numbers? So that is 1. So there is no predecessor of 1 in the system of natural numbers. Then is there any number in the natural numbers which has no successor? So if you observe the successor of any natural number, then every natural number has a successor. If you take any larger natural number, even 9999, so it has a successor, that is plus 1 equals to 10,000. So in the set of natural numbers, every number has a successor, but there is only one and only one number which has no predecessor, that is 1. So every natural number has a successor. Now what are the whole numbers? Now let us learn about the whole numbers. If we include 0 to the set of natural numbers, then we get another set of numbers called the whole numbers. So here we can write the natural numbers together with 0 are called whole numbers. So 0 and the natural numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. So these numbers are called the whole numbers. So here 0 is included in the natural numbers. So all these numbers are called whole numbers. So the natural numbers together with 0 are called whole numbers. Then what is the smallest whole number? So we can observe that the smallest whole number is 0. The smallest whole number is 0, and there is no largest whole number. Because whole numbers as natural numbers, whole numbers are also unlimited, so we cannot find any largest whole number. And here also we can find the difference between any two consecutive whole numbers is always 1. The difference of 0 and 1, the difference of 1 and 2, the difference of 2 and 3 is always 1. And are all the natural numbers whole numbers or not? Yes, all natural numbers are also whole numbers. Here we can write that all natural numbers are whole numbers. because 1 is a natural number, it is also whole number. 2 is a natural number, it is also whole number, and so on. So every natural number is considered as a whole number, but its converse need not be true. Means we can write that all whole numbers need not be natural numbers. Means because 0 is a whole number but not a natural number. So 0 is a whole number but not a natural number. So we can write that all whole numbers need not be natural numbers. Now let us see how to represent the whole numbers on the number line. Now the number line, now on the number line first we mark zero, which is the initial point. Then with 1 unit away from 0 we mark 1, and 1 unit away from 1 we mark 2. So the difference between any two consecutive whole numbers is 1. So with the equal intervals we mark 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and so on. So this arrow mark represents that these whole numbers are unlimited. Now for example, if your 3 lies to the left of the whole number 4 on the number line, so 3 lies on the left of the given number 4, then we can write that 3 less than 4. So similarly, here 1 lies on the left of 6, so then we can write that 1 less than 6. Now if a number lies on the left of the other number, then the first number is smaller than the second number. Now for example, if a number lies on the right of the other number, then that number is greater than the second number. For example, your 7 is right of 5, so then we can write that 7 is greater than 5. And your 6 is on the right of 2, then we can write that 6 is greater than 2. So whatever the number lies on the right of the given number, so that is greater than the other number. Now how to add the numbers on the number line? Now addition on the number line. How to add the given numbers on the number line? For example, if we want to add 3 plus 2, so then first we move 0 to 3 units. So this is 3. Then from 3 again we move 2 units to the right. So 1, 2. So we reach 5. Then 3 plus 2 equals to 5. Now if you want to find 4 plus 3, so then first we move 4 units to the right. So this is 4. From 4 we have to move more 3 units. So 1, 2, 3. So we reach 7. So then 4 plus 3 equals to 7. Then subtraction. Zero, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So then if you want to subtract 3 from 8, so then 8 minus 3, so then this equals to, first we move 0 to 8. So then while subtracting 3 from the given number 8, then we move to the left 3 units. So 1, 2 and 3. So then we reach the 5. So then 8 minus 3 equals to 5. Or we can move in the upper part. 1, 2, 3. So this is 8 and this is minus 3. So then 8 minus 3 is 5. Now if we want to find the subtraction of 7 and 4, means the difference of 7 and 4, 7 minus 4. So then first we move 7 units to the right, 0 to 7. Then we move 4 units to the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We reach 3. So then 7 minus 4 equals to 3. Now multiplication. Multiplication on the number line. So your multiplication is nothing but the repeated addition. So then 3 into 4. So 3 4s are how much? So let us do this now. On the number line we mark all equal intervals, then starting from 0, so we write 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So then 3 into 4 means 3 times 3 4s. So 4s, 0 to 4, 1, again 4 to more 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3 4s are 12. So then 3 into 4 equals to 12. So this is 4, 4, 4. So then this is 3 4s are 12. And if you want to find the product of 2 and 6, 2 into 6 equals to, or 2 into 7. Then 2 7s are, so your 7s 0 to 7 and more 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is also 7. Now 2 7s are there, 2 7s are 14. So here also we reach the 14 on the number line. So this multiplication is nothing but the repeated addition of the numbers. So far we have discussed the natural numbers, whole numbers and representing the whole numbers on the number line, and we have also learnt the addition, subtraction and multiplication of the whole numbers. Now let us do few problems based on all these concepts. Now the first question, write next 3 natural numbers after 10,999. So what are the next 3 natural numbers after 10,999? So means we have to find the successor of 10,999 and again its successor. So we have to find the next 3 natural numbers. So the next 3 natural numbers after 10,999 are, so 10,999 plus 1, 10,999 plus 2 and 10,999 plus 3. So then, so 10,999 plus 1 means that is 11,000 comma 11,001 comma 11,002. Now the next question, write three numbers write three numbers that occur just before 11,998. So what are the numbers that occur just before 11,998? Now the numbers, the three numbers that occur just before 11,998 are 11,998 minus 1, 11,998 minus 2, 11,998 minus 3. So then 11,998 minus 1 means 11,997, 11,996, 11,995. So these are the three numbers which occur just before 11,998. Now the next question, which is the smallest whole number? Which is the smallest whole number? So we can write that 0 is the smallest whole number. So the smallest natural number is 1 and the smallest whole number is 0. But there is no largest whole number and there is no largest natural number. Now the next question, how many whole numbers are there between 32 and 53? So the whole numbers between 32 and 53 are 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51 and 52. So these are the whole numbers between 32 and 53. Now how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So there are 20 whole numbers between 32 and 53. Now let us see the next question. Write the successor of 24,40,701. The successor of 24,40,701 is 24,40,701 plus 1. So that equals to 24,40,702. Means the next natural number after the given natural number is 24,40,702. Now the successor of 23,45,670 is 23,45,670 plus 1. So that equals to 23,45,671. Now the next question, write the predecessor of 10,000. So the predecessor of 10,000 is 10,000 minus 1. So that equals to 9,999. So the predecessor of a given number is obtained by subtracting 1 from the given number. Then the successor is obtained by adding 1 to the given number. Now the predecessor of 76,44,321. 76,44,321 is 76,54,321 minus 1. So that equals to 76,54,320. Now let us see the next question. Use the appropriate symbol. Between the pairs of numbers. So the first question, 530 and 503. So if you draw the number line, so on the number line, the 530, the given number 530 lies on the right side of the other number 503. So here 530 is greater than 503. Now the second question, 370 and 378. So if you draw the number line and if you represent these two numbers on the number line, then 370 lies on the left of the other number 378. So then the number 370 is less than 378. The next question, 1 lakh, and next the other number is 99,999. Here also the 1 lakh is just after the other number 99,999, and here 1 lakh lies on the right of the other number 99,999. So here 1 lakh is greater than 99,999, and of course here 1 lakh is a successor of 99,999, and 99,999 is the predecessor of 1 lakh. Next, 0 and 1. Here 0 lies on the left of the other number 1, so we can write that 0 is less than 1. Now the next question, state the following statement. State the following are true or false. Now the first statement is 1 is the smallest whole number. So 1 is the smallest whole number. This is false because the smallest whole number is 0. So we can write this is false. Since 0 is the smallest whole number. In the second question, second statement, 1 is the smallest natural number. Yes, 1 is the smallest natural number, so we can write that true. Next, third statement, there is no largest natural number. Yes, there is no largest natural number, so this is also true. Now the next statement is all natural numbers are whole numbers. So this is also true because every natural number is considered as a whole number. And the next statement, all whole numbers are natural numbers. So this is false because since 0 is a whole number, but not a natural number. Next statement, there is no predecessor of 0 in whole numbers. So this is also true. So there is no predecessor of 0 in the set of whole numbers. There is no successor of 1 in natural numbers. So this is false because every natural number has a successor. So that is why, so the statement is false. Now let us see the properties of whole numbers. So like closure property, commutative property, and the associativity and the identity. So let us learn all these properties in case of addition, subtraction, multiplication and also division. So first let us learn the closure property. Properties of whole numbers. So the first one is closure property. So let us check the closure property in case of addition. Now if you add any two whole numbers, then we get the sum also a whole number. For example, 0 is a whole number and 5 is a whole number, then 0 plus 5 equals to 5. This is a whole number. And 7 is a whole number plus 3 is a whole number, then 7 plus 3 equals to 10 is a whole number. So this can be observed by adding any two whole numbers. So if you add any two whole numbers, their sum is also a whole number. So we can write that whole numbers are closed under addition. Now next, under multiplication. Now let us see the closure property under multiplication. Now if you take any two whole numbers and multiply, then we will get the product also a whole number. Now let us see with an example. So here 5 is a whole number and 7 is a whole number. Their product 5 into 7 equals to 35. So which is a whole number. So then 8 is a whole number and 12 is a whole number. So then their product 12 into 8, 96, which is a whole number. So the product of any two whole numbers is also a whole number. So we can write that the whole numbers are closed under multiplication. So we can write that whole numbers are closed under multiplication. Now in the first case, we can write that the sum of any two whole numbers is always a whole number. In the second case, we can write that the product of any two whole numbers is always a whole number. Now let us learn the closure property under subtraction, then under division. Now first you see the subtraction case. Now if you take an example, so the difference of any two whole numbers is always a whole number. Let us see this now. Now for example, 8 is a whole number and 3 is a whole number. So 8 minus 3 equals to 5, which is a whole number. But 6 is a whole number and 10 is a whole number, then their difference 6 minus 10. So then what is this number? So we don't know the difference of 6 and 10. So we don't know the subtraction of 10 from 6. So then the difference of two whole numbers may not be a whole number. Therefore, we can write that whole numbers are not closed under subtraction. Now let us check under division. Now here 8 is a whole number, 8 divided by 2. So this equals to 4 is a whole number. And if we take 12 divided by or 24 divided by 16, so this equals to 24 by 16. So 8 2 is 16, 8 3 is 24. So this equals to 3 by 2, which is not a whole number. So this is a fraction which is not a whole number. So we can write that the quotient of two whole numbers may not be a whole number. Therefore, we can write that whole numbers are not closed under division. Now let us see the division by 0. Now multiplication means it is a repeated addition and division means it is a repeated subtraction. Now for example, if we want to divide 12 by 4, so then we get, so then 12 minus 4 equals to 8. So then 8 minus 4 equals to 4 and 4 minus 4 equals to 0. So in the first step we got the difference 8, and in the second step we got the difference 4, and in the third step you got the difference 0. So in which step you got the difference 0? When 4 is repeatedly subtracted from the given number 12. So in the third step we got the difference 0. So then we can write that 12 divided by 4 equals to 3. Now similarly, let us see the another example. So what is the result when 8 is divided by 2? So then we subtract 2 repeatedly from 8, then 8 minus 2 equals to 6. So this is first step, and 6 minus 2 equals to 4. So this is second step, and 4 minus 2 equals to 2. So this is third step, and 2 minus 2 equals to 0. So this is the fourth step. So in fourth step we got the difference 0. So when you subtract 2 repeatedly from the given number 8, then 8 divided by 2 equals to 4. Now let us see the next case, division of a whole number by 0. So now we will take the whole number 5 and we divide it by 0. So then 5 minus 0 equals to 5. Again 5 minus 0 equals to 5. So again 5 minus 0 equals to 5. So this is the first step. So this is second step, and this is the third step, and again 5 minus 0 equals to 5. So this is the fourth step. So in any step, if you write as many steps, but we will never get the remainder 0, we will never get the difference 0. So then we can write that division of 5 by 0 is not defined. If you take any other whole number in place of 5, so we never get the difference 0 in any step. So we can write that the division of whole number by 0 is not defined. So we can write the conclusion as division of a whole number by 0 is not defined. Now let us learn the next property of whole numbers. So that is commutativity. Of addition. Now for example, if you take any two whole numbers 2 and 3, then what is the sum of 2 and 3? 2 plus 3 equals to 5. And if you take the same whole numbers in the different order, 3 plus 2 equals to 5. So you can even check this result on the number line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and so on. Now the sum of 2 and 3 means first from 0 to 2 steps, then from 2 again more 3 steps, 1, 2, 3. So then we reach 5. So then we can say that 2 plus 3 equals to 5. Then if you add 3 and 2, so first you will take 3 steps from 0. So this is 3. From 3 again we need more 2 steps. So 1, 2 again we reach at 5. So then 3 plus 2 equals to 5. So we can observe that 3 plus 2 equals to 2 plus 3. So that equals to 5. So if you take any two whole numbers and if you add the two whole numbers in any order, but we still get the sum same, the result is same. So therefore we can write that addition is commutative for whole numbers. Now let us check the commutativity of multiplication. Now in this, if you multiply any two whole numbers in any order, but we still get the product the same. Now let us see with an example. 3 into 4 equals to 12, and even 4 into 3 equals to 12. So we can write that 3 into 4 equals to 4 into 3. The product of two whole numbers in any order is the same. So then we can say that multiplication is commutative for whole numbers. Now the third property, commutativity of subtraction. Now if you take any two whole numbers as 5 and 3, and if 5 minus 3 equals to 2, but 3 minus 5, so here we cannot subtract a larger number from the smaller number. So far we have learnt. So then here 5 minus 3 is not equal to 3 minus 5. So then we can say that subtraction is not commutative for whole numbers. Now the next one, commutativity of division. Now 15 divided by 3 equals to 15 by 3, so that is 3 1s are 3 5s are 15, that equals to 5. And if you divide 3 by 15, so then 3 divided by 15, so this equals to 3 by 15, and here 3 1s are 3, 3 5s are 15, so this equals to 1 by 5. But here 5 is not equal to 1 by 5, so we can say that 15 divided by 3 is not equal to 3 divided by 15. So then we can conclude that division is not commutative for whole numbers. Now the next property is associative property. So associativity of addition. Now in this we have to take any three whole numbers, and we should add the three whole numbers by grouping any two. So let us take three whole numbers, 3, 4 and 5. Here first we will group 3 and 4, we will add 3 and 4, then the sum is added to 5. So then we get 3 plus 4, 7 plus 5 equals to 12. And in the second case we group 4 and 5. So 4 plus 5, this sum is added to the first number 3. So then 3 plus 4 plus 5 is 9. So then 3 plus 9 is 12. So in the both the cases we have got the same result. So we can conclude that 3 plus 4 of plus 5 equals to 3 plus of 4 plus 5. So in three whole numbers, if you add any two whole numbers and the third whole number is added to the sum, still we get the same result, same sum. So then we can say that addition is associative for whole numbers. Now the next one, associativity of multiplication. Now in this case also we have to take any three whole numbers and we will multiply two whole numbers, then the product is multiplied by the third whole number. So then we get the, if you multiply any two whole numbers and this product is multiplied by the third whole number, then the result means the product will be the same. Now let us take an example. So take 5, 6, 2 any three whole numbers. So first we will multiply 5 and 6. So this product is multiplied by 2. So then we get 5 6 are 30 into 2 equals to 60. And in the second case, we multiply 6 and 2 by grouping them. So 6 into 2 equals 2. So this product is multiplied by 5. So then 5 into 6 2s are 12. So then 5 into 12 is 60. So in the two cases, we have got the same product. So then we can say that 5 into 6 of into 2 equals to 5 into of 6 into 2. So then, therefore, multiplication is associative for whole numbers. Now, third one is associativity of subtraction. Now let's check whether the associative property holds in the subtraction of whole numbers. Now let us take any three whole numbers: 10, 6, 3. So then first we subtract 10 and 6. So then 10 minus 6 of minus 3. So this equals to 10 minus 6 is 4, minus 3 equals to 1. So then we will group 6 and 3 and subtract. So then 10 minus of 6 minus 3 equals to 10 minus 6 minus 3 is 3. So then 10 minus 3 is 7. So both results are not same. So then we can say that 10 minus 6 of minus 3 is not equal to 10 minus of 6 minus 3. So then we can conclude that subtraction is not associative for whole numbers. Now the fourth one is associativity of division. Now here also we take any three whole numbers such as 16, 8, 2. So first we divide 16 by 8, then we divide this quotient by 2. So then we get 16 by 8 is 2 divided by 2. So this equals to 1. So then here we group 8 and 2 together, then 16 divided by 8 divided by 2. So this equals to 16 divided by 8 by 2 is 4. Then 16 by 4 is 4. Here also we observe that both the quotients are not same. So we can write that 16 divided by 8, which is divided by 2, is not equal to 16 divided by 8 divided by 2. So we can write that division is not associative for whole numbers. Now let us learn the next property, that is distributivity of multiplication over addition. Distributivity of multiplication over addition. Now, for examples, the sum of two whole numbers 6 and 3, that is 6 plus 3 is multiplied by 5, means 5 into of 6 plus 3. So then we multiply these two numbers individually by 5. So then we can write that 5 into 6 plus 5 into 3. So we can check with any other example. 2 into of 7 plus 8, so this equals to, here we multiply 2 by 7, then this is added to the product of 2 and 8. So then 2 into 7 plus 2 into 8. Now let us check whether this results holds or not. Now 2 into 7 plus 8 is 15. So then 2 into 15 equals to, here 2 sevens are 14 plus 2 8s are 16. So here 2 into 15 is 30. So here also 14 plus 16 is 30. So here we got LHS equal to RHS. Now this is known as the distributive property. This is known as distributive property of multiplication over addition. Now let us learn the next property, that is identity for addition and multiplication. Identity for addition. Now if we take any whole number and add 0 to the whole number, then we get the sum as the same whole number itself. For example, 5 plus 0 equals to 0 plus 5 equals to 5. So then 7 plus 0 equals to 0 plus 7 equals to 7. So the sum of 0 and any whole number is the same whole number itself. So then here 0 is called the identity element of addition. The sum of any whole number and 0 is the whole number itself. So here 0 is called the identity element for addition. And if you multiply any whole number by 0, then we will get the product as a 0. So then 5 into 0 equals to 0, 0 into 7 equals to 0, 11 into 0 equals to 0. So if you multiply any whole number with 0, then we get the product again the 0 itself. Now the next one is identity for multiplication. Now if you multiply any whole number by 1, the product is the same whole number itself. For example, 5 into 1 equals to 1 into 5 equals to 5, or 18 into 1 equals to 1 into 18 equals to 18. So if you multiply any whole number by 1, then we will get the product, the same whole number itself. So then here 1 is called the multiplicative identity or identity element for the multiplication. So the product of any whole number and 1 is the whole number itself. So therefore 1 is called the multiplicative identity for whole numbers. So far we have discussed the properties of whole numbers such as closure property, commutative property, associativity and distributivity, and also the additive and multiplicative identity. Now let us do few problems based on all these properties. Now the first question, find the sum by suitable rearrangement. Now the first question is 837 plus 208 plus 363. So we can use the associative property of addition while adding these three whole numbers. So using associative property, so then we can write here 837 plus 363. So we can group these two whole numbers plus 208. So then 833 plus 363, 800 plus 300, 1100, and 37 plus 63, 100. So 1100 plus 100 is 1200 plus 208. So then we get 1408. Now the next question, 1962 plus 453 plus 1538 plus 647. So then here we can group 1962 plus 1538 plus, and we can group these two whole numbers together, 453 plus 647. Now by adding these two whole numbers here, we get 8 plus 2, 10, 1 plus 3, 4 plus 6, 10, and 1 plus 5, 6 plus 9, 15, and 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 1, 3, 3500, plus 453 plus 647, 600 plus 400, 1000, and 53, 4700. So this is 1200. So then we get this is 1100. Then we get 3500 plus 1100 is 4600. Now let us see the next question. Find the product by suitable rearrangement. Find the product by suitable rearrangement. Now the first question is 2 into 1768 into 50. So this can be grouped as 2 into 50 together into 1768. So here 2 into 50 is 100 into 1768. So this equals to 1768. Ones are 1768 and there are two zeros. So then this is 1,76,800. Now the second question, 8 into 291 into 125. So here also we can group 8 into 125 together into 291. So this equals to 125 2s are 250, 125 4s are 500, and 125 8s are 1000. So this is 1000 into 291. Now this equals to 291 ones are 291, and there are 3 zeros, 1 2 3 zeros. So this is 2,91,000. The next question, 125 into 40 into 8 into 25. So here also we can group 125 and 8 together. So 125 into 8 into 40 into 25. So here 125 8s are 1000 into 25 4s are 100, and more one 0. So this 1000 into 1000. So here 1 1s are 1, and there are 3 zeros plus 3 zeros, 6 zeros, 1 2 3 4 5 6. So this is 10 lakh. Now let us solve the next question. Find the value of the following. Find the value of the following. So the first question is 54,279 into 92 plus 8 into 54,279. So this can be written as same 54,279 into 92 plus. So by using commutative property of multiplication, we can write 8 into 54,279 as 54,279 into 8. Now we can use the distributive property of multiplication over addition. So then if you take 54,279 common, so this equals to 54,279 into here 92 plus 8. So by using distributive property of multiplication over addition, now this can be written as 54,279 into 92 plus 8 is 100. So this equals to 54279, and then 2 zeros, 1 2 1s, 10s, 100s. So this is 54,27,900. Now the next question, 81,265 into 169 minus 81,265 into 69. So here we can use the distributive property of multiplication over subtraction. So if you take 81,265 common, then we get 81,265 into 169 minus 69. So this equals to 81,265 into 169 minus 69 is 100. So then this equals to 8 1s 265, then 2 zeros. So this is 81,26,500. Now let us solve the next question. Find the product using suitable properties Now the first question is 738 into 103. So this equals to 738 into 103 can be written as 100 plus 3. Now this equals to, so when you multiply 738 by 100 plus 3, so here we can use the distributive property of multiplication over addition. So here by distributive distributivity of multiplication over addition. So then we get 738 into 100 plus 738 into 3. So then we get here 738 into 100 plus 738 into 3. So then this equals to 738 into 100, 738 ones are 738, then 2 zeros. So this is 73,800 plus, now 3 8s are 24, 3 3s are 9 plus 2 11, and 3 7s are 21 plus 1 22. So then we have to add these two integers, then 0 plus 4 4, and 0 plus 1 1, then 8 plus 2 10, and 1 plus 3 4, 4 plus 2 6, then 7. So 76,014. Now the next question, 258 into 1000. So this can be written as 258 into 1008 can be written as 1000 plus 8. So here also we can use distributivity of multiplication over addition. So then we get 258 into 1000 plus 258 into 8. So 258 is multiplied by 1000 and multiplied by 8. So then we get 258 ones are 258, then 1 2 3 zeros, then it is 2,58,000 plus 258 into 8, 8 8s are 64, 8 5s are 40 plus 6 46, 8 2s are 16 plus 4 20. So then we get 4 plus 0 4, then 6 plus 0 6, 0 plus 0 0, then 2 plus 8 10, 1 plus 5 6 2. So this is 2,60,064. Now let us solve the next question. A taxi driver filled his car petrol tank with 40 liters of petrol on Monday. The next day he filled the tank with 50 liters of petrol. Then if the petrol costs 44 rupees per liter, how much did he spend in all on petrol? Here the taxi driver filled the car petrol tank with the petrol. So on Monday he filled the tank with 40 liters of petrol. On the next day means on Tuesday he filled the tank with 50 liters of petrol. And the cost of petrol per liter is given as 44 rupees. Then so what is the amount spent by the taxi driver on petrol? So first let us find the petrol filled on Monday equals to 40 liters and petrol filled on Tuesday equals to 50 liters. Now the quantity of petrol, the total quantity of petrol equals to 40 plus 50 liters. So this equals to 90 liters. Now the cost of petrol per liter is cost of petrol equals to 44 rupees. Then cost of petrol per 90 liters equals to 44 into 90. So this equals to 0, then 9 4s are 36, 9 4s are 36 plus 3 39. So the 3,960 rupees. The amount spent on petrol equals to amount spent on petrol equals to 3,960 rupees. Now this can also be done in another way. So this is second method. Now here we can find the cost of petrol filled on Monday, and we can find the cost of petrol filled on Tuesday individually. So the cost of petrol per liter equals to 44 rupees. Now the taxi driver filled the petrol 40 liters on Monday, so the cost of petrol filled on Monday equals to 44 into 50, 44 into the 40 liters. So this equals to 0, 4 4 are 16, 4 4 are 16 plus 1 17. So that is 1,760 rupees. So this is the cost of petrol fill on Monday. Now here we can find cost of petrol filled on Tuesday equals to 44 into, on Tuesday he filled 50 liters of petrol, so then into 50. So this equals to 0, and 5 4s are 20, 5 4s are 20 plus 2 22, so 2,200 rupees. Now the total cost of petrol equals to 1,760 rupees plus 2,200 rupees. So this equals to 0, and 0 plus 6 6, 2 plus 7 9, and 2 plus 1 3. So this is 3,960 rupees. So this is the total cost of petrol. Therefore the amount spent on petrol equals to 3,960 rupees. Now let us see the next question. Name the properties of the following. Now the first one is 425 into 136 equals to 425 into 100 plus 30 plus 6. Now this is the distributive property of multiplication over addition. So because here 425 should be multiplied by 100 by 30 and also by 6. So next one is 2 into 49 into 50 equals to 2 into 50 into 49. So this is the commutativity of multiplication. Next, 80 plus 2005 plus 20 equals to 80 plus 20 plus 2005, and this is the commutativity of addition. So because we have interchange these two whole numbers 2005 and 20 as 20 and 2005, so this property is known as commutativity of addition. Now next topic is patterns in the whole numbers. Now every number can be represented as the elementary shapes made up of dots. So then some numbers can be shown as the line, some numbers can be shown as the rectangle, and some numbers can be shown as the squares, and some numbers can be shown as the triangles. So the possible geometrical shapes are: first one line, second one rectangle, third one square, and fourth one triangle. So every number can be shown any one of the four following geometrical shapes, and there is no other shape allowed. Now for example, some numbers can be shown as line. For example, almost all the numbers, not only some numbers, all the numbers can be shown as the lines. For example, if the number 2 is there, so we can show this with the 2 dots, and if a number 3 is there, so we can show 3 dots. The second one, some numbers can be shown as rectangles. For example, 6 is there, so we can show as 2 into 3, 2 rows and 3 columns. And if a number 8 is there, then we can show 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 fours are 8. Now the next case, some numbers can be shown as squares. For example, 4 is there, then we can show like this, and 9, so we can show with the 3 dots here. 2 twos are 4. Now some numbers can be shown as triangle such as 3, so we can show with 3 dots. Or 6, so we can show as so in case of triangles, we take the number of dots in each row. So there are 3 rows in the bottom row. There are 3 dots in the bottom row and 2 dots in the second row and 1 dot in the uppermost row. So the number of dots from the bottom to top will be in the decreasing order. So when you write any number in the triangular shape and in the uppermost row there is only 1 dot. Now let's see the next table. Complete the following table. So in the table, the first column is number. Now whether you have to check whether the number can be shown as the line, then rectangle, then square, then triangle. So here we take the different numbers such as 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and so on. So we can take any number. Now we know that every number can be shown as the geometrical shape of line made up of dots. So we can write 2 can be shown as the line and 3 also can be shown as the line. So every number can be shown as the line, so we can write yes in the line column. Now rectangle. Now 2 cannot be shown as a rectangle, so we write no. And now whether 2 can be shown as a square or not. So 2 cannot be shown as a square, so here also no. And 2 cannot be shown as a triangle. No. Next, now 3, whether 3 can be shown as a rectangle or not. So 3 cannot be shown as a rectangle, so we write no. And 3 cannot be shown as the square, and 3 cannot be shown as the 3 can be shown as a triangle. So there are 3 dots, so 3 can be shown as a triangle, so we write yes. And 4 can be shown as a line, and 4 can be shown as a rectangle, and 4 can be shown as the square, and 4 cannot be shown as the triangle. Next, 5 can be shown as the line, 5 cannot be shown as the rectangle, and 5 cannot be shown as the square, or 5 can be shown as the triangle or not. Let us see this now. So first we'll take 1, 2, 3, then we take 4, 5, but we need one more dot, so we cannot show. Now next, 6 can be shown as the line, and 6 can be shown as the rectangle. Yes. Now 6 cannot be shown as the square. Now 6 can be shown as the triangle. Yes. So this is 6. Next, 7 can be shown as a line, and 7 can be shown as cannot be shown as a rectangle. No, 7 cannot be shown as the square, and even 7 cannot be shown as the triangle. Now which number can be shown as only line? So we can say that the number 2. Which number can be shown as only line? So that is 2. And which numbers can be shown as rectangles? So the numbers which are shown as rectangles are 6, 8, 10 and so on. Now which numbers can be shown as squares? Now the numbers which can be shown as squares are 4, 9, etc. So 4, 9 and 16 and so on. Now the next question, which numbers can be shown as triangles? So the numbers which can be shown as triangles are 3, 6 and so on. Now let's see the next topic, patterns observation. Now if you want to add, for example, 117 plus 9, so then this equals to 117 plus 9 can be written as 10 minus 1. So then if you group 117 plus 10, then we get 118, then minus 1 equals to 117 plus 10, 127, minus 1 is 126. Now if you want to subtract 9 from 117, so minus 9, so this equals to 117, so this minus 9 can be written as minus 10 plus 1, so this equals to 117 minus 10 is 107 and plus 1 equals to 106. Now 117 minus 10 plus 1 equals to 117 minus 10 is 107 plus 1 equals to 108. Now we can use, so 117 plus 99 equals to, so 117 plus 99 can be written as 100 minus 1 equals to 117 plus 100 is 217 minus 1 equals to 216. So then we can do even the subtraction, minus 99 equals to 117. So minus 99 can be written as minus 100 plus 1. So this equals to 117 minus 100 is 17 plus 1 equals to 18. So we can use the simplifications easily by writing while adding 99, 999, or while subtracting 99 and 999 to the given number. Now we can use also the distributive property while simplifying, while multiplying any larger number by the numbers such as 9, 99 and 999. For example, 215 into 9, so this can be written as 215 into 9 means 10 minus 1. So here we can use the distributive property. 215 into 10 minus 215 into 1. So here we can easily multiply 215 and 10, 215 and 1, then we can subtract. So if you want to multiply 215 by 99, so then this can be written as 215 into 99 means 100 minus 1. So this equals to 215 into 100 minus 215 into 1. So here also we can multiply 215 by 100 and 215 by 1, then we can subtract. So here we can use the distributivity of multiplication over subtraction. Now we can use the following patterns while simplifying, while multiplying. So 96 into 5, so this 96 into 5 can be written as 10 by 2. So then 2 ones are 248s, and 48 into 10 is 480. And here 96 into 125, so 96 into 125 can be written as 1000 by 8. Here 8 ones are 8, 8 12s are 96, 12 into 1000, 12,000. So while multiplying 64 by 5, so then 64 into 5 can be written as 10 by 2, 2 32s are 64, 32 into 10 is 320. So then 64 into 25, so this equals to 64 into 25 means 100 by 4, so 4 ones are 4, 16s are 64, so then 16 into 100 is 1600. So we can multiply any two numbers. So by writing one of the two numbers in the form of 10 by something, 1000 by something, so then we can cancel and multiply by 10, 100, 1000, etc. Now let us see the questions now. Which of the first question, which of the following will not represent 0? Now the first option is 1 plus 0, so this equals to 1 will not represent 0. Then 0 into 0 equals to 0, then it represents 0, will represent 0. Then 0 divided by 2 also 0, so this will represent next. 10 minus 10 is 0 by 2 equals to 0, so this also will represent zero. The next question, study the following pattern. Now 1 into 8 plus 1 equals to 9, 12 into 8 plus 2 equals to 98, 123 into 8 plus 3 equals to 987. So then write next 4 steps. So the next step is 1, 2, 3, 4 into 8 plus 4 equals to 9876. The next one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into 8 plus 5 equals to 98765. The next step is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 into 8 plus 6 equals to 98765. The next step is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 into 8 plus 7 equals to 9876543. So this is the pattern observed in the first step 1 into 8 plus 1 equals to 9, and in the second step, so 2 is increased means 12, then it is multiplied by 8 and 2 is added, then we get 9 decreased by 8, so that is 98. In the third step, we have taken first 3 digits 1, 2, 3 multiplied by 8 plus 3 the number of digits, then we got the 3 numbers in the descending order 987. So we can continue the same pattern for any step. Now let us see the next question. Find the following using distributive property. Now the first question is 728 into 101. So this equals to 728 into 101 can be written as 100 plus 1. So if we use distributive property, here we can write 728 multiplied by 100 and 728 multiplied by 1. So then 728 into 100 plus 728 into 1. So this equals to 728 2 zeros plus 728 1 the 728. Now this equals to 0 plus 8 8, 0 plus 2 2, and 8 plus 7 15, 1 plus 2 3 and 7, 73,528. The next question, 5,437 is multiplied by 1,001. So here also we can write 5,437 into 1,001 can be written as 1,000 plus 1. So here also we can use distributive property. So 5,437 is multiplied by 1,000 and multiplied by 1. So then we get 5,437 into 1,000 plus 5,437 into 1. So this equals to 5437. So there are 3 zeros plus 5437. So 5437 3 zeros, then 5,437. Here 0 plus 7 7, 0 plus 3 3, 0 plus 4 4, 7 plus 5 12, 3 plus 1 4 4 and 5. So 54,42,437. Now let us see the next question. If the product of two whole numbers is 0, can we say that one or both of them will be 0? Justify through examples. Now for example, the product of two numbers is 0 means, so either we can take if a into b equals to 0, then either a must be 0 or b must be 0 or both 0. So if a equal to 0, then 0 into b equals to 0. If b equal to 0, then a into 0 equals to 0. So if both a equal to b equal to 0, then 0 into 0 equals to 0. So here either one or both of the numbers will be 0. If the product of the two numbers is 0, then either one or both of the numbers will be 0. Now the next question, if the product of two whole numbers, if the product of two whole numbers is 1, then can we say that one or both of them will be 1. Now the product of the two numbers is 1, so then if a into b equals to 1, so then if a equals to 1, then 1 into b equals to b, but you are not getting the product 1. So if b equals to 1, then we get a into 1 equals to a, but not 1. If both a equal to b equals to 1, then 1 into 1 equals to 1. So then both of the numbers will be 1. If the product of the two whole numbers is 1, then both of the numbers will be 1.